Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, July 26th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple of clarifications. First off, this price you see over here will be changing around, and then the candlestick right there you'll see will be moving around. That's because the market is still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then next, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame. So if you're a beginner, what that means is that each one of these candlesticks, as I said earlier, represent 30 minutes worth of time. So first one here, ticker symbol Govx. It's been a big mover in the past, and then today really started off the week in a big way. I mean, check out all that volume, huge volume, nice price movement. So I think it's safe to assume that there's going to be plenty of people watching this one tomorrow. So let's get some key levels mapped out here. So first level here from resistance standpoint, in my mind, right up there at that $1.75 mark. Now, I do realize that the price went higher than that today, but in my opinion, if the price can come back up to that area, and in particular get a high volume break of $1.75, then there are no guarantees. But is it rational? Is it plausible to think that the price could then retest these highs and potentially even break up through them? In my mind, absolutely. So again, if the price can get up there, break through there with the high volume, then I think it's got a great chance to move over here, test those highs of $1.86 and potentially even get up in the $2 mark. So keep a close eye on that $1.75 mark. If you're somebody that likes to play more so pullbacks, then an interesting pullback level in my mind down there right around the $1.32 mark. So keep an eye on that. But anyway, look at it. Huge momentum to move. Huge momentum today. Got the good move. And now it's just a question of, does this pullback want to continue back up? So if you like to play this price range, then it's certainly worth keeping an eye on. Next, Rdbx, and really like the pattern on this one, so I want to be very clear. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply that this is a great discovery on my part or a special talent. I assure you a lot of people have seen this pattern, and I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same patterns and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So the level here and the pattern I think that most people are going to be watching has everything to do with that resistance line right there. Then actually make that another line and bring that over here because we have this little pullback right now that's essentially forming a downwards channel, but I do want to change that to green because that's representing more so the bullish part of the pattern support area. And then maybe to make it all the easier to see, let's just make it one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the huge momentum move right there, and that is just a classic bull flag pattern. So if you like to play bull flag patterns, if you like to play stocks down below the $10 mark, here you go. Next, TNXP, and just a monster mover, just like Govx. And like that one, some pretty straightforward levels. So key level to watch moving forward on this is going to be right up there at that $1.88 mark. Nothing fancy or complicated behind that other than just asking the question, where did the party, where did the momentum finally stop today? And that was indeed right up at that level. So if this pullback can continue back up and push up through there, like Govx, get a high volume break of that area, then no guarantees, but valid to think that this thing could pick up a whole nother line of momentum because as it showed today, once this thing gets moving, it can get moving very, very heavy and very quickly. So we'll see if that can repeat itself. And if this ultimately turns into be a bigger uptrend, if you're somebody that likes to play those pullbacks, then in my mind, the pullback area on this one to keep an eye on, worthwhile, going to be down there around the $1.67 mark. So watch that very closely. But all in all, nice pattern, nice momentum. And if you like to play these sub $5 stocks, here you go. Next one, AMC, and another very rough day. Not necessarily because it was a red day, but because it broke through a very significant level in the world of charts. And even if you have a basic understanding, I'm sure you've heard of this moving average and you know when the price is above it, you certainly want to see the price stay above it from a bullish standpoint. And that is the 200 period moving average, which on my chart here is denoted by that pink line. And you can see that today price came down here. Opening 30 minutes, got slightly up above it, but then it was that second 30-minute candle right there that ultimately closed down below there. And then just to give some credit to, I guess we'll look at the glass as half full. At least that didn't open up the floodgates and then have the price completely collapse. To be fair, at least the price did just go sideways. So it could have been worse. It was bad, don't get me wrong, but it could have been worse. And that now equates this moving average to being the key level of resistance, and that's just based on a foundational rule in charting that states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So going into the day, yes, that was a level of support, but now that the price is down below there, $15.20 is going to be that near-term area of resistance. As far as supports are concerned, very straightforward here, just basically the question of, okay, it's gone sideways, so where's the bottom part of this sideways movement? And that's right down here at 1475. So 1475, nothing fancy behind that other than that's the fact where enough buyers finally stepped in that didn't allow any more sort of downwards pressure to show up. So 1475 key level there, but yeah, not a great way to start the week. Next, SIGA, and nice mover here, a little bit higher price than the other ones we've been looking at, but same general context, nice gap up. A little different in the sense that this one pulled back earlier and then got a very nice late morning into the afternoon, and then we got another little pullback here. So it's really just a question of, is history going to repeat itself once again? And that's the whole idea of a watch list. Not to randomly rush out and buy something, but, well, watch it. See if it behaves in a way that ultimately fits your strategy, ultimately fits your personal risk tolerance. And that's really the question here, is find those unique and interesting situations. And to me, this is interesting. It's shown that it can move and move quickly. It's broken out of a pullback before. So now, can it do it again? That is the big question. And so you get a nice little pullback. And if you like to play these pullbacks in momentum, then you could get another nice surge. If you do like to play some more so breakouts, then in my mind, key breakout area going to be right here around that trend line right there, which puts the breakout up around the $16.15 mark. So keep an eye on that. But overall, if you like to play those pullbacks within high momentum, then this is one that in my mind would fit the definition of a unique, interesting situation and is certainly worth watching. Next, TSLA Tesla. And this is one where I talked about it on Friday. Talked about this level here right around 811 being a very important level as support. And you can see that generally speaking, price tried to hang above there and did do a good job for the majority of the day, but late day, the price ultimately did drift down through that level. So that area has now been broken and goes back to that rule. When levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So moving forward now, 811 is going to be that main area of resistance. I'm going to leave that overall level up there at 845, just in case that comes into play. But you can actually see afternoon, there was a little bit of a pullback or a bounce back up, and that's right where it got rejected at 811. So if there is any sort of bounce, 811 going to be that initial area of resistance. As far as levels of support are concerned, and if this pullback continues to the level that I'll be very curious about, is going to be right down here around the 795-ish mark, which also puts it right around the ballpark of that purple line, which is the 50-period moving average. Nice upward slope to it. So again, as I've said, I'll probably say more. No such thing as a guarantee, but is it valid? Is it logical to think that you could potentially get a bounce off that 795 area because you have that support, because you have the moving average? Yes, no guarantees, but certainly a plausible scenario that could play out. So these will definitely be the main levels that I'll be watching on Tesla. Real quickly, I wanted to pause and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it should be used to build consistency, then certainly get signed up for the free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying what you've seen, you want to learn more about this tool, then certainly get signed up for that free live training. Next, REVB, and this is a very nasty looking chart, very ugly, but as I know a lot of you know I'm going to say, there can be opportunity in the ugly, because the fact of the matter is that, yeah, it was ugly in the sense of the price opened up, ran all the way up to there, and then just basically bled and bled and bled and bled the rest of the day. However, the price is still up above that moving average right there. And no guarantees, but is that some sort of random area? No, because you have a moving average. So is it plausible to think that this big nasty move might be finding a bottom here? And now, again, it doesn't even necessarily have to reverse all the way up to $1.80, but even if it goes halfway up, from a risk-reward standpoint, you'd have a very nice trade here. So this is certainly not a situation where if you're bad at honoring stop losses and you're not good at risk management, then, I mean, you shouldn't be trading at all, but that's a whole nother topic for a video. But you should definitely not be touching situations like this, because, yeah, it's very possible, too, that maybe this is the beginning of the end and this thing is just going to keep bleeding. That's possible, but it is also rational to think that, okay, maybe this pullback is over. It has started to go sideways. So is this some sort of indicator that some sort of bounce is about to, show up soon? We'll have to see. But if you like to play these sorts of situations where a lot of people are probably saying, that's the ugliest thing I've ever seen, there's no way I'm going there, then, from a psychology standpoint, those can be the, the moments where things start to all of a sudden turn around. So keep an eye on it. Next, SNDL, which is basically officially just been, basically a pump and dump, right? Huge, great movement here. And then from there, just has drifted lower and lower. And it's not quite back to where it started. So I suppose, depending on your definition of a pump and dump, maybe you could argue that it's not. But if this thing goes down to 29 cents, then it will quite literally, you can say that the price started here, made a huge move, and then has officially gone right back to where it started. And like I said, I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, but price movements that demonstrate that sort of movement, huge move, and then all of a sudden the price is back to where it all began, not exactly a sign of genuine strength. So to be fair, there's no guarantees that it goes down to 29 cents, but if it goes down to 29 cents or let alone below it, then that's even worse, because now you'd have the price going not only back to where the big move started, but now it's even less than there. So 29 cents is very important, but overall from a storybook standpoint, yeah, this is looking like one just kind of prolonged pump and dump where you got the pump and then it's just been a slow dump back to where it began, but we'll see what happens. Next one, PIK, beautiful movement. This will mean more to those that watched the video from Friday, but drew in this pennant pattern here, and you can see that second 30-minute candle came up there, broke through the pennant, and then made a fantastic move. Late data today, though, that did really change the landscape of the chart quite a bit, because, it becomes a more than valid question now of, is this like the beginning of the end, or is this just simply a pullback? It could just be a very violent pullback, but it could just as much just be the start of some sort of bigger reversal. But again, for those of you that watched the video previously and played that breakout of the pennant, you had plenty of opportunity to scalp out and make some good money on it. So congratulations to those of you. As far as new key levels are concerned, first level is going to be that resistance trend line right there, which is now proven to be pretty stubborn. And then the level of support where, I suppose it could come into play again, but it's going to be right down here at this $2.20 mark, which was not only the lows from Friday around that consolidation period, but also the low right there from the opening of today. So a little bit more, $2.20 becomes a very fascinating area. But yeah, right now things are definitely looking kind of sketchy because of this late afternoon activity. Next, AMD, which is a very intriguing chart because you got to give credit where credit's due. That second 30-minute candle there, pretty nasty, had the price all the way down to that area. But then since then, just nice, slow and steady move to the upside. And then you factor in the final 30 minutes right there, good solid green candle. That was all happening on, not gigantic volume, but definitely bigger volume than what it was. So at this point, going back to the whole reason of what a watch list is, the philosophy behind it, find unique, find interesting situations. Well, to me, this is very interesting. And it becomes a question of, okay, is this getting ready to potentially head up to that purple line, the 50 period, and then break up through it? Yeah, I could see that being a very real possibility. Again, for the last time, there are no guarantees, but by no means is this just some sort of, randomness. There's a thought process that goes behind it, and it's justified based on how the price has moved, volume. So yeah, a very interesting scenario here where does this final 30 minutes kind of serve as a leading indicator that there's going to be some more momentum to come. And if there is, then yeah, the next big question mark in terms of, well, is there going to be enough momentum, enough strength to push up through that 50 period, which is valued at 88.50. That'll be the key area from the resistance standpoint. As far as supports, personally, I just throw in a trend line right there because the price began to trend upwards. And as long as the price stays above that green line right there, that does imply that the trend is still in the upwards direction, which is bullish. So those would definitely be the couple main dynamics to keep an eye on for Tuesday. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you enjoyed what you saw and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can be used to help you build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the free training later on in the week. Like I said, it'll be live. It'll be Thursday, July 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to make these videos and just help out the channel, help out the YouTube algorithm, hit that like button and please leave a comment below, even if it's just saying hi. Tell me what you traded today. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. But those two things go a long way in helping me out, communicating to me, helping out the YouTube algorithm, and I really do appreciate it. So again, if you like what you saw here, get signed up for that free training. Everybody take care, have a good one, and hit that like button, leave a comment below.